Hey everybody, welcome to BOAST-CAST. But before we get into the podcast, let's talk about earbolts. This is their brand new product, earbolt Bluetooth wireless speakers. And if you want a discount code, links in the description.
Hey, don't forget the nub, man. These are small, but they're really, really powerful. Don't forget them. They come in a lot of colors, too.
They already know about the nub. That was on the last podcast.
Really
and we
great.
know you tuned into that because you're subscribed, you're tuned in.
Oh, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date on all the podcasts and
They
future
already
updates.
are subscribed,
There
bro.
we go. That's it, man. That's it. We're taking enough time. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So here we are, episode 7 of BOAST-CAST. That's what we're calling it. So yeah, I just want to start off with some background on you, and before we even get into that, you mind introducing to each of you are?
My name is Donny Garcia, also known as ScrawnyDonny on Instagram and YouTube.
My name is Jason Garcia, and you can search me up on Instagram, Jason Films, and YouTube.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put you up on the screen. So what's your background in videography? What made you want to get into it, primarily starting off?
So pretty much for me, it all started off 2017 in January.
Really?
I was trying to figure out a new hobby, something, because as a kid, I've always been very, I guess you can say artistic. I always like to draw and, color and stuff. And
That's awesome.
so, as I got older, I was like, what, is there something else where I can, express my creativity? And that's when I decided, maybe I should buy a camera and start doing photography. I started looking up all these photographers on Instagram, and I got inspired, so
Yeah.
it mainly started off as photography. And so I bought my first camera on January 23rd of 2017.
Wow.
Who knows the day?
Yeah, that's technically the day I actually started with my actual
Damn.
camera. It was a Sony A6000. It was probably like $900, with the cheap kit lens. And within about 2 weeks of using it, I figured, this is something I like.
Yeah.
I want to
So
get
it's,
more
fast.
into it. So I upgraded my camera. I got the A7 Mark II.
Nice.
And, fast forward a few months later, it was around July. And I was like, I want to start doing video. And I started getting a few clients and stuff. And I was like, I need 4K.
Yeah.
So then I upgraded to the A7 R2.
Right.
And then from there, once I had that camera, I just started to explore different things as far as
Nice.
different types of video, photo. At that point, because I had the 4K, I really wanted to explore video. So I kind of put photo on hold.
Right.
And what helped me was, for the previous months prior to buying that camera, I was just focused on photos. So learning shutter speed, aperture, FPS, stuff like that, how to shoot in flat picture profiles. Well, that came in after, but the main concept was learning the settings and how to use the camera.
Yeah.
So because I focused on photo first, when I started learning about video, it wasn't as difficult because I already had the basics down.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that came hand in hand. Had I started video first, I think it would have been a slower process, but I kind of started small and I worked my way up. And, it's pretty much, I've been trying to do all kinds of video and photo. I don't have a specific category like normally people say.
Yeah.
So what kind of photographer are you, or videographer? Are you like a wedding photographer? Are you a portrait photographer? Are you
Nice, yeah.
I just tell them I like to do everything and anything. I
Yeah,
do
same
anything
with
from
this.
commercial work, weddings, automotive, sometimes shoots with models. Pretty much anything. Like, I'm very open to it,
Very cool, yeah.
That's pretty much what I do.
And what did you do to learn how to do the photography? Did you just teach yourself, Google, stuff like that?
Yeah, so what I did was pretty much first when I bought my camera was learn how to use the camera itself, how to do the settings. Most people start off shooting in auto, which was my case. I did it for about 2 weeks. Then after that, I started looking up ways to improve my photography, and what I found out was that when you shoot on manual mode, it allows you to do a lot more with your camera, use it to its full potential. So I started looking up, different ways to improve, such as YouTube, Google, forums, Vimeo.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a lot of watching tutorials, you know, tutorials, forums, and what influenced me a lot was also Instagram. You know, there was a lot of Instagrammers that I would see their work, and I was like, you know, maybe one day I can get like that. So what I would do is, to help me start off, I would, for instance, let's say if I saw a YouTuber and I really liked his video, I would try to copy him the first time just to learn the process. So once I learned, okay, so like I would, for example, look at his shot list, you know, not necessarily look at his shot list because he wouldn't post it, but like let's say I saw a video and I would be like, okay, how did he get this shot or this shot or this shot?
Yeah.
So I would just analyze the video and then I would try to imitate those shots. Wow. So when I would do it, you know, I would see where I messed up or where I did good, and then from there, once you learn the basics, you add your own taste to it, and eventually you're not even trying to copy them. It's just like a starting point. That way you know where to start, and from there you just branch off into your own creativity. Wow. I don't know if it kind of makes sense. It's a little like
no, that's really
hard
cool
to explain, you know, but
maybe for somebody that doesn't really do videography on a like average basis, but for us, I'm like taking notes, man.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that we have to try and do in the future, because I actually had some questions regarding that. Maybe we'll jump into it a little bit later, but that's really cool because some of your shots really remind me of like Hollywood movies that I've seen, and it's just like that quality. It's like you see the same vibe, but it's like it's you know. It's not that like over commercialized stuff in down there.
Comes back to it, you know, like as a kid I would always be like, man, you know, I wish I could make a movie one day, and you know, and I always thought like, you know, maybe in the future I can, because me as a kid I've always been into those action films with guns and explosions.
Yeah, of course.
And I always thought as a kid, you know, it'd be cool if one day I could make something of my own, but realistically I knew that I didn't know how to make special effects, and I didn't have the budgets or the CGI for it. But you know, I started off with some small projects. There was one film I did, it was called The Hostage. It was shot in the Spiral Garage downtown in Fresno. And I added, we used airsoft guns that were pretty much replicas of real guns. Yeah. And that was the first time in my life that I had done special effects with guns.
Yeah.
I added the muzzle flash.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Either you wrote a comment about it or you actually had it pop up in the video. I remember I saw that and I was like, hey, it looks pretty good for his first time.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember it was either your comment or something. I read that too. It was like my first time doing gun effects.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder what that means. Like, to Googling it, like just like copy and paste. I mean, it sounded pretty good. Sounds like for his first time, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was that video, you know.
And even like for your world's fastest like Civic, like that video is just so epic, and it's just like, how did he do this? Like, it makes you really question, like, the work that goes into it, and what basically, was the work behind that? Like, what?
So for that one, that one was sort of like something I wanted to do to make people laugh.
Yeah. And
show them that you don't need like an expensive car to make something look cool.
Yeah.
You didn't need a whole production crew. For that, the only man behind the camera was just me.
Really?
I did the shooting, the audio, the editing. Well, the audio, for some parts, I did it, but I'm going to give the credit where it's due. The audio was actually taken from a Pennzoil commercial.
Really?
And I implemented it into mine. The audio was done by Charles Deenan. And so I saw this Pennzoil commercial. It was about this, I think it was a yellow BMW. I don't know if it was an M4 or an M6 or something. So it was a Pennzoil commercial. It took place in the snow. And throughout the whole video, I was like, wow, you know, I want to recreate something like this. And I knew that because I saw some behind the scenes of this, and I knew that to create something like that, I'd need some crazy, like, shot angles, and, you know, I'd need a big crew, to put it simply, and a lot of equipment that I did not have. So, on a much smaller scale, I try to replicate that video. Because that video was a whole new style of which I wasn't aware of, that I had never attempted.
So that was your first attempt at that, huh?
At that type of video, because I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, they're like longer clips and cuts, more slow paced. This was just fast action cuts with audio, and I wasn't familiar with how to make something like that. So like back to what I was saying earlier, what I did was I looked at the Pennzoil commercial for a whole day. I watched it like 50 times.
Wow.
And I was like, how can I copy some similar shots and, you know, copy the audio and stuff and make it flow really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for like a whole day or two, you know, watched it over and over. And once I realized, okay, I know how he got this shot. I know how he got this shot. That's a drone shot. I know how to do this. Then I went out. I told my brother, hey, let's take your car out. We're gonna drive. And then I told my friend Alex, hey, could I sit in the back of your SUV? So pretty much how I got a lot of those shots was we popped the trunk open and I was in the back with my Ronin.
Really?
And that's pretty much how I got the shots of the car chasing the other car.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, me, I don't use storyboarding. I don't use a shot list, nothing.
Right.
Script writing. It's all just like straight out of my head, on the spot, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I'll have opinions from like my brother, like, hey, what should we do here, or my friend Alex. But for the most part, we don't storyboard or
we just go.
Nothing. We just
same day we go. We all just plan, hang out, and we like
just film it.
Just go just make something.
So I'm curious, is that the same with the movies too, or is that just?
There's all of them. Mostly all of them.
No way.
That's
wild.
Even with the hostage short film,
Yeah.
there was no storyboard, no script, no nothing.
Oh really? You guys just showed up?
Yeah, we just show up same day. Like we stay for like an hour, plan it, and then we just shoot.
So like how we
That's
do
so
it is
cool.
we normally get a group of friends that, like for example, if we want to make a little film, we figure, okay, it takes like 4 or 5 people. We'll try to get the people that are willing to participate.
Mm-hmm.
We meet up for about, you know, an hour and discuss, okay, guys, I have this idea, and then I have this idea. We put them all together, and we pretty much film as we go. So, like, we won't have the whole story thought of prior to filming.
Yeah.
So we'll have, like, let's say the first half down. Okay, the first half is going to be like this. Once we film that, we'll pause and say, okay, where do we go from here? Should we go this way, end it like this or like this?
Mm-hmm.
So we break it down in like, let's say fourths. And then that allows us to make a whole film without storyboarding or, you know, script writing or nothing, which I do believe script writing and storyboarding should be essential.
Mm-hmm.
But for the films we've done, you know, we've only been doing video for like a year and 1 month.
Yeah.
So we're not too experienced in how to storyboard and write scripts and dialogues and.
Sure, it's a
so,
see as you go type of thing.
Yeah, that's how we've taught ourselves. But down the road, we want to start doing script writing, storyboarding.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
To make longer films.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Right,
What's the end goal here? Is it like you want to do a whole like hours long movie, or is it like
to
you
be
want to
honest,
stick to shorter stuff?
Like this year, my goal is to make an actual full-length movie.
Oh,
as
no
crazy
way.
as it sounds, I'd say roughly 90 minutes.
Wow.
That's the
90
goal.
minutes.
But if I can achieve at least an hour of footage of a movie, you know, that's the plan. And I know CMAC, they also show, you know, the videos that we make here on TV. So my goal would be to maybe possibly get it on TV, put it on YouTube, Vimeo, and
all the good stuff.
you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. That'd be really cool, dude. Like, I'm sure they would love to have something like that, like an hour and a half feature film.
Yeah, that's
especially. I mean, like yours are short, but they look really good. So you put that on a mass scale, do it for hour and a half.
Do you have any ideas, like any sneak peeks that you can mention right now, or is it just all
right
in the
now,
future?
It's just in my head. Like I don't have a certain story or anything in specific, but I do know that this year I want to make it happen. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It just takes a matter of time of, you know, having the right people that are gonna be there, because most of the films you guys see, those are shot within 1 day.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, most people shoot films, they do a little bit every day of filming.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are done all in 1 day within a time span of maybe 5 hours, 6 hours on the spot. So for me wanting to do an actual movie, I know it's going to take days, weeks, months of filming. It's going to have a whole crew of actors and camera guys and, you know,
all that stuff.
on a much larger scale, something I'm not used to. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to direct it. How I'm gonna
I was curious.
You know?
So what do you want your role in that to be? Like, if you were to make a movie, do you want to be more the director, the producer? You want to do it all? Or like, what's the plan?
Well, to be honest, as of right now, most of the time for my videos, I do everything as far as editing, directing, shooting.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have help from my brother and my other friend Alex. But as much as I love being behind the camera, I love being in front of the camera.
Oh, you want to go into the acting route?
You know,
I see.
I like doing both. So like,
Yeah,
it's kind of like you know how Stan Lee comes out in his movie sometimes.
Little
Yeah.
cameo.
That's something I
think
want
it
to
was
do.
Batman, the newest one with the newest series with Ben Affleck. He was like acting as Batman and directing at the same time.
Exactly.
So he was doing both.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the best part.
Yeah.
You know?
That's crazy. That's gotta be tough.
When you can be inside a movie that you directed or you wrote or you have something to do with and at the same time be in it as an actor.
Yeah, like Seth Rogen, like he does that all the time.
Yeah.
Like every movie he writes, he's in it.
And I think that's the best part because you could tell people, hey, you know, I directed it and at the same time I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's not necessarily having a main role and being in it throughout the whole time, but even if I can get my 2 minutes of fame in there or something, you know.
Might as well.
Yeah,
It's not even
cameo.
for the fame. It's just like seeing myself in a movie that I
cool.
created or helped create.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be sweet.
that's the best part. You know, and it's really motivating because when I'm able to see myself on the big screen, I'm like, okay, you know, I want to do more of this stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is when you get the good feedback. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, where's the part 2?
Yeah.
Or what happens from here?
That's
like,
when the budget increases, man. That's when they're like,
Exactly.
I need
the
an extra
demand.
$100 here if we're gonna have part 2 coming out.
Yeah, you know, the actors are like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm a little hungry. You gotta buy us food
Yeah,
next time.
get the GoFundMe up for part 2.
Exactly.
That'd be
So
cool. What genre are you thinking of? Like more action based or?
I'm thinking about action. I'm very into action and horror.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a good combo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could,
so
like, find a way to.
Wasn't there was a horror movie that was filmed in Fresno? Was it The Gallows? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that'd be cool. It's like it was a whole movie, but they did it basically in one place, right? Like
Yeah.
one
it
amphitheater or
was
something.
a theater.
I've had a vision for the horror movie I want to do. I want it to take place somewhere. So I don't have a story yet, but I have a vision of where it's going to take place. I want it to be somewhere like in a forest at night.
Okay.
Somewhere by like, I don't know, like Bass Lake or Millerton or by a lake.
Yeah.
I have that so far. I still have yet to find out what it's gonna be about, but
Yeah.
at this point I have to figure out, okay, what about lighting?
Yeah.
You know, because if you're
that's the biggest thing.
so I need to purchase a lighting kit, something I don't have.
I was gonna say too,
unfortunately.
because I did not live in Fresno when The Gallows came out, but I can imagine there was like a huge support for. I don't know if you guys saw it like in theaters when it came out. Yeah, I can imagine there was a huge support from the city for it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if the director was from Fresno. I could look it up, but like if you're from Fresno, you make a movie in Fresno. There's 500,000 people here, 100,000 in Clovis. Like I can imagine you're gonna have a lot of support, especially if you keep it central in Fresno. You know.
Exactly.
Like that's very smart. Try to keep it
And
up
that's
here.
and like how he was saying earlier, you know, I'm trying to help put Fresno on the map.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really known for photo and video like most people I meet. When I go to other cities like San Francisco or LA, they're like, oh, so you from around here? They assume I'm from there.
Yeah.
Right.
When I say I'm from Fresno, they're just like, no way, you know? I
Yeah.
never heard of anyone from Fresno that does photo and video.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are some great artists here in town that have a lot of potential and they're really skilled, but, you know, there's only a few of them.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them. So that's why we're not really known for photo, video, and movie.
But it's the time where you could take over the market and be the few that make it to the top.
I'll be one of the few
Exactly.
if I can, and mainly like the way I see it is it's not even like to compete or anything.
No.
I pretty much have a passion for what I do, and
Yeah, I can see that through your work. Definitely.
yeah, like a lot of work I do is for free.
Really.
And a lot of times people they're like, oh, you're just trying to compete, you're just trying to be the best. I'm trying to be the best for myself. You know, every time I make a film, the next one I want it to be better. Not because I want to be better than the next guy, but because I want to be better than my latest work. Just keep moving up, and you know, because I think that's pretty cool. Like whenever I meet talented artists in town, I think that's great. I encourage those people to get better and better and better and better.
True.
You know, the sad thing is when I see talent and a lot of people put them down because they're, you know, just jealous or competing or stuff like that. So I normally try to surround myself with people that have similar interests, and I just try to tell them, you know, let's try to keep moving up, put Fresno on
Same
the map.
here,
you
man.
know, that's That's what it's all about.
It's one thing if you're gonna do it alone, it take forever. If you have a team supporting you and helping you, it's gonna speed along the journey. You get there just 10 times faster.
Definitely.
So I have a question. Are you both originally from Fresno, or where you from originally?
I was born in LA.
Okay.
I moved out here when I was like 3. Well, my whole family moved out here when I was like 3. And I've been in Fresno ever since, pretty much my whole life.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Neither of us grew up here, so.
Yeah, I was born and raised here.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
The funny story is where he was born, the hospital is now abandoned.
Yeah.
No way.
Kings Canyon?
Yeah. Kings Canyon and Cedar.
Yeah, I was born in that hospital.
That one looks hella sketchy now too.
Yeah.
Like, it looks haunted. Like, it's just, I don't know how you can keep a whole hospital empty like that for so long. It's crazy.
That'd be a video. Go explore it.
No, I'm sure someone has or
People
tried.
go in there all the time, but there's asbestos, so you gotta be careful in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that stuff is deadly, man. If you
definitely.
It can
Get a respirator, just like go in there. Some Ghostbuster stuff.
I'm sure it's been looted how many times, like whatever. There's left,
time.
And then coming back to where we started, sort of. So you talked about the first camera you bought, but what cameras do you currently use now? Like what like your whole range of gear?
So my whole range of gear right now, I use the Sony A7R2.
Nice.
That's my one and only camera. I love it because it's good for photo and video. It shoots 4K.
Right, yeah, best of both worlds.
And a 42 megapixel. You know, I want to upgrade to the A7 III or the A7R3 soon, but for now, it's a good camera. Definitely. So I have that. The way I have my gear is I have it split into like 2 categories. I have my grab and go setup, and then I have my like professional setup. So pretty much to break it down for you, I have this backpack that I just throw on my back whenever I want to go shoot real quick or travel. And in there I have my DJI Mavic Air, my Sony A7R2, my Zion Crane V2, and some batteries and CPLs and polarizers and D-filters. That's like my grab and go setup. So I always have that stuff in there. It's essential for me. Like, my friends say, let's go take photos. I just put it on and I have everything I need for just traveling.
I need one of those.
And then I also have my other setup, which is it's just a bunch of like suitcases. My Ronin M. I have my Ronin M. My Atomos Ninja Flame 4K external monitor. I have my DJI Mavic Pro.
So you have 2?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have 2. I had a third one, but I sold it because I didn't really use it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So I have Mavic Pro, and then I have I edit on my iMac. It's the 21-inch, the 4K monitor.
Nice.
I have that. And
what do you have powering that?
Just, to be honest, it's just a stock setup. Just
really? Nice. Yeah. Does it render pretty good with everything?
It's actually decent. The only thing I noticed is when it comes to After Effects, it has a hard time.
Yeah, I was noticing with my laptop too. With Premiere Pro, it usually does smooth, pretty fine. Yeah.
But After Effects is where it gets kind of choppy. Yeah.
I was telling this guy, but he has like the mega computer that he built it himself. It's like ridiculous. So
those are the best ones, man.
Yeah, definitely, and it's cheaper too. So
yeah, cheaper.
It's a good route to go. So what softwares do you use primarily, like the Adobe Cloud?
Adobe Cloud, yeah. So as of right now, for photos, I use Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. I still don't know how to use Photoshop.
Really?
Yeah, it's like people are impressed. They're always like, you don't know how to use it? Like, because a lot of my photos, well, back then, I used to edit more like very colorful photos, and they would assume I knew Photoshop. And I'm like, I don't know anything about Photoshop.
Yeah.
Same with my videos. I don't know how to use Lightroom. I mean, I don't know how to use After Effects.
Right.
So, I use just the basic softwares, but I get the most out of them.
For some of the effects that you use, like some of the glitch effects and like transitions, that's all in Premiere Pro then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's a few videos where I've done parts of it in After Effects, but I'd say 90% of it is in Adobe Premiere Pro.
Have you ever used, did you use iMovie starting off, or did you just jump right into Adobe?
I jumped right into Adobe.
That's the way to go, man.
Yeah.
So, what sparked your love for making, car meet videos specifically? Because I see that trend, that's the main thing that you shoot for the most part, other than your short films, but what got you into that?
So, the car stuff, I've always been into cars. So, even as a kid, when I would always draw, most of my drawings were cars.
Really?
So I've always been into cars. I'm more into the JDM cars, like Hondas, Acuras, imports.
Sure.
That's what I mainly like about cars as far as categories. But what got me into it was, so when I bought my camera at first, I mainly bought it because, well, like I said earlier, I wanted, something new as a hobby, where I could get creative and stuff, artistic. But I mainly used it to take photos of my car, which is a 98 Honda Prelude that I had as a project car. I still have it.
Yeah.
But I haven't done a lot to it lately. But what I would do is I would always take photos of it. And pretty much from there, I was like, why keep taking photos of the same car? Why don't I start taking photos of my friends' cars? And then
there you go.
The cars at the car meets. And then eventually people started wanting to pay me for photos. So they were like, hey, how much for a photo shoot for my cars? And then next thing you know, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I like taking photos of cars and now I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
How much better can it get? So that's a lot of that comes from that too. And then also videos. A lot of times people were like, how much for a car video? Or can you come out to this car meet and film the cars? Or sometimes for the community too. Like I would go to a few community events where they'd have car meets. Right. And I'd just donate a video for the event. And I'd get a lot of good feedback. And customers would come out of that like, oh, I appreciate you doing the free video. Well, how much would you charge me for a photo shoot of my car? Or a video of my car? And then, that's pretty much how it started. And from there, I started going to LA a couple months back for the really big car meets. Because over there they have huge car shows.
Definitely.
And I met a lot of great people out there in the car scene. Like, a lot of these people are pretty much, I guess you can say, Instagram famous when it comes to the car scene. And car it worked out because, they're like car famous, and it worked out because, I made a lot of good connections and friends, and like I would have never thought that like me taking photos or videos of cars would help me branch out and network and make connections.
Wild.
At this point, I'd say most of my connections and clients have been one way or another involved with the automotive industry. Whether it's photos or videos, whether it's in Fresno, LA, Modesto, San Francisco. And going back to what I said earlier, cars is something I love, I have a passion for. So I always enjoy shooting cars. And the best part about, shooting a car is when I go to like car meets, the cars are already there.
Right.
So I don't have to direct anything. I go out there with my setup, I get to choose what order I shoot it in, how I get my angles, and you don't even have to ask if you could record the cars, because when people come out to a car meet,
they want their car filmed.
Yeah, they want them in the video.
That's wild.
That's the best part. And then when people see that you record really cool cars, they're like, wow, this guy's recording cool cars. Like this guy's legit.
Right.
Then when they see you like that, it makes your work stand out more.
Definitely,
as opposed to just filming some random car that just.
Yeah.
Like I filmed a while back. There's this Mustang. It's a friend of mine. His name's Patrick, but I met him for the first time when I shot a video of his car. It was the first. I don't know if you guys are in the car scene, but it was the first Liberty Walk Mustang. So Liberty Walk is pretty much like a body kit that they make for these cars, and he was the first one in the U.S.
Was he really?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Cool, I'm glad we're getting to that. Yeah, so what's the deal with that? So first one,
the first Liberty Walk Mustang in the whole U.S. And
that's
when you're in the car scene,
Liberty
Walk is something huge. They have these kits on Ferraris or on Lamborghinis, on I don't know, all these cars.
Yeah.
FRS, So I had the privilege to shoot his car when it had barely got done. It was probably like a few months, maybe about a month since he had got it done and put together.
Wow. That's wild.
And I got a lot of good feedback on that. And he got a lot of good feedback too, because what we did was I met him. I said, hey, you want a free video? All I asked for was you just give me credit. And he said, yeah, sure.
Wow.
And after that, we became friends, but it was cool because that video is currently on my YouTube, and it has, I believe, around 12,000 views and
16.
Like 16.
I have it up. I was gonna ask about that video.
Yeah, and it has maybe 200 thumbs up or something, and 2 thumbs down. So
Wow.
that video
That's
was,
gnarly.
it's like
Someone
one
from
of
a different
my,
car company was not having it.
I know, right?
Something. There's always those two.
And it's crazy because after I posted it on Instagram, the companies of the parts on the car, so like for example the intercoolers, like I forgot the name of it, but like certain companies that have certain parts of theirs on that car started sharing the video.
No way.
And eventually Liberty Walk shared the video on their Instagram.
No
Liberty
way.
Walk, which is the brand that made the kit, they shared my video on their page and they had like 80,000 followers.
Yeah.
And then the company that made like the intercooler for that car shared my video and they tagged me.
Not bad.
So
cool. So you got what you wanted about the credit, you know?
Yeah,
everybody gave you credit.
It worked out because you know I love shooting cars that are very nicely done. So I was able to shoot that car. It was really cool, you know. And out of on top of that, all these companies were able to see their car get shared on Instagram.
Gnarly.
They're making marketing out of it, you know. And I'm getting the credit where it's due. So it was a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
And,
full
you know,
circle. That's gnarly.
And it's cool because like you see all that good feedback. People leave, like people were like, whoa, you know, one day I want to make my videos like this, or one day I want to have a car like this, or
that must be really inspiring, honestly.
And it's the best feeling when other people start giving you that feedback because you're like, well, okay, if they like this and they're gonna like this, and you just keep wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it also helps from a business perspective because let's say I want to offer video services to someone else, and they're like, well, why should I pay you for this? Well, when you tell them, look, I shot this car, it got shouted out on all these pages, all these businesses, I have this many views on YouTube. I mean, my work speaks for itself, I'd say.
Right.
And then, you know, from there, if you want to look at it from a business standpoint, there's that part of it too.
Yeah.
But for me, the main reason I do this is for passion, and then second comes the business aspect. So that's how it is for me, you know? Like, I don't know if you guys ever look on my Instagram, but I'm never the type that really posts like, book me now, or hire me, you know, this and that. Rarely, I'd say like once a year, once within a past year, I'd probably put like, oh, hit me up for bookings or videos. That was like once.
That's crazy.
But most of my work comes from people saying like, whoa, your work is cool. How much? And then they ask me.
Wow.
Because, you know, that's me mainly doing it for a passion and not for business. So business, like, if people start contacting me about business inquiries, I'll respond and I'll do business work. But for me, the main thing is the passion.
There you go.
And that's why I do it.
So is this full-time for you? You don't have any other job right now? Or?
Well, this is actually like a part-time / hobby type of thing because I work in construction.
Okay.
I'm a laborer. I was working on the high-speed rail a while back.
Oh, no way.
That's what I do for a living. You know, I'm currently trying to get a job in film or media production or...
Yeah.
I've applied at a lot of companies here in Fresno, but so far, no luck.
Man, you're a CMAC participant, so you can come help us with our show if you're down.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down, you know.
No, where have you applied in Fresno? I'm curious. We could like bash on them if you want, like, or we could. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to put no one under the bus, you know, throw them under the bus. But
no, I'm just curious, like, where you applied, like what names we'd recognize. Or I don't know if they would even be recognizable.
I just don't want to throw anyone under the bus. You know? But,
okay.
Like to tell you though, like to put it simply, like they're some of the most known companies in town, which is only like a few of them.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
That speaks for itself.
There's like 3 or 4, because I mean, how big is Fresno?
Yeah, there's not very many. You just
but I can almost guarantee you the first like 3 that come to your head, biggest ones I've applied there, and
I'm sure, yeah.
so far no luck. You know, at first I was like, wow, you know, they don't want to hire me, but eventually I started to think, well, if they don't want to hire me, I mean, it's fine, nothing against them. I'll start my own business.
Perfect.
So, you know, like right now, I'm finishing up a video for a client for No Surrender Laser Tag. Vista Mall. You know, so far that's one of the biggest projects I've had.
Really?
Real estate.
I'd say about a week ago or 2, I just, me, my brother, and my friend Alex, we finished up a big project too. It was for a $1.5 million mansion. It was a real estate video.
Really?
And what's crazy is it's...
Where was that at, LA?
Woodward Lake.
Oh, what? Okay.
Woodward Lake.
That's cool.
And the crazy part is when we were filming, it turns out that the homeowners are aunt and uncle of Kim Kardashian.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so wild.
So we were filming,
That's
and
where the
then
money's from. No, I'm just kidding.
so we were filming the mansion, and then the lady that owns the house, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Kim Kardashian's aunt."
What?
And I started looking at the floor mats, and it said Kardashian. And I looked up the house on Google, on the maps, it said Kardashian Enterprises.
Really?
I was like, whoa, how cool is this,
How'd you get in that situation?
So we got in through that because we got hired by a real estate agent.
Okay.
Her Instagram is buying and selling Fresno, I believe. It's like
That's cool.
Peck Real Estate. She hired us to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, when we went to film, as we were filming, the homeowners came out and started talking to us, and that's when they brought up they were Kardashians, and from there I was like, whoa, this is crazy,
Yeah, no kidding.
Like I would have never known Kardashians would be in Fresno.
Yeah, that's
and,
a weird coincidence.
It's crazy, and they were really nice people, really friendly people, and
that's really cool.
their house was really nice, and
Oh, sure.
I think it's still in the market for anyone that's interested in buying it. But
yeah, shouts out.
yeah, stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what makes me enjoy what I do. It's always something different with video. You always meet different people, different types of work. It's like I went from doing a real estate video to now doing a commercial for a laser tag place. It's like always changing, and the next thing you know, I might end up doing a commercial for a dealership or
right.
So it's always changing, I'm not stuck in a cubicle with just one thing. Like I'm able to branch out and do different things. I also got like 2 weddings coming up this year, so Have
you done one before?
I've done one, but this was like 6 months ago when I was barely starting off.
Yeah.
It was so bad I just deleted all the footage and I said, nah, it's not
You're
good.
doing well.
Well, I mean, because I went with my brother. He shot the wedding.
Yeah.
And I just went to shoot footage as practice.
Yeah.
Right.
He turned it in. He charged me dirt cheap too.
Yeah.
Really?
The gear he used and everything, like he charged cheap.
Really?
But we didn't complain because he was making money.
Yeah. And then
he's only like what 17. So at the time he was like 16. And
I was like 16.
Not bad.
So $200 for a 16-year-old, they're not gonna complain.
No,
man.
Buy something nice.
Do you have your own equipment as well? Or?
Yeah,
Cool.
I have a Ronin M, a monitor, and the A7 Mark II.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
I started photography 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like around the same time. Like mine is on the 14th of January.
Oh, really?
Like,
Yeah, that's crazy. Right at the dates.
You have the dates down. You came prepared.
Yeah. I started like 2 years ago, and we both started video on the same time. So that's like we're shooting like the wedding. It was like I didn't know as much, but
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean at least you got some money in your pocket for that,
Yeah,
and the
so
experience is what's like priceless. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So, are you really into cars? Do you have like some pretty cool cars right now, or are you working to get something crazy eventually?
I mean, I have a dream car, but right now, I think I have a picture of it right here. I recently purchased, it was like 8 months ago, a 2017 Honda Civic Si.
The orange one?
It's a red one.
Oh, the red one.
Yeah, it's a red one, and I already did stuff to it. I already lowered it. I put wheels on it, and
that looks mean, actually.
So there's that one.
Yeah.
And then I also have a 98 Honda Prelude SH, which is this one. I still have that one too.
That's clean, actually.
Thanks.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like really into cars. For me, I've always owned Hondas, but for me it's really hard to keep a car stock.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. Like for this one, the newest one I have, I told myself I'm not gonna do anything to it. It becomes a money pit.
It does, man.
And 8 months later, within a month, I lowered it. I put wheels. I put a lip kit, and lowered it, stuff like that. But it's just I have a passion for cars too. So,
yeah, might as well. What's your dream car though?
My dream car, I'd say, is something like a GTR, something that's attainable.
Definitely, yeah.
Attainable. It's sporty. It's an import. It makes good power. It's fast.
Do you have a Grom?
No.
No, I was watching that video.
I was gonna buy one, but I was like, I don't want to die because it's pretty dangerous. Oh, you saw the video I made on that?
Yeah, it looked pretty sick, actually.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
To be honest, that one wasn't even planned. It was me and my friend Alex were on the Spiral Garage that day, and out of nowhere, like 15 motorcycles pull up doing stunts. And it's funny because my friend Alex was like, hey. like, settle down.
Yeah.
So then they all settle down, and like I guess the club leader comes up to us. He's like, and my friend tells him, "You guys want a free video?" He was like,
Yeah.
"You guys want a video? Hell yeah!" So next thing you know, I'm like, "Okay." Set up my gear, and
That's wild. Bro.
you know, I just filmed them doing stunts, and they're pretty cool people though.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that long of a video. I just wanted something to make.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something to work on.
Oh, it looked cool though. Like
Thanks.
I really liked like the motorcycle cinematic stuff because like they doing the burnouts, the wheelies, like all this
Yeah.
illegal stuff, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks hecka cool. So I was like, I'm gonna make sure I shoot it in slow motion, cause you know,
Gotcha.
certain videos in
Mhm.
slow motion look a lot better.
So crisp, like
Yeah.
can't beat that. So about the LA dub show, did you get invited to go to that show or were you just like a spectator?
So I went as a spectator,
Okay, cool.
and it's funny because when I went, I had a water bottle with me because you know, when you carry that thing around for a lot of hours, you get sweaty.
Definitely, yeah.
So I had a water bottle with me, and before entering the security gates,
Mhm.
they make you like take out everything that's metal. So I had to, you know, set aside my whole equipment and my belt and my water and everything. When I was passing it, they said, "Oh, no water's allowed unless you're part of the media, like
Oh, okay.
our media. Unless you got hired through them,
Yeah.
then you could bring a water."
Yeah.
So then the security guard was like, "Well, I'll let you take it in because you're part of the media, right?" I
Yeah.
mean, no normal person's gonna come spectate and bring all this gear. He was like, "I used to work in the film industry, and I know how much all this is worth. I know your setup, man. This is easily like $6,000 or $7,000. No normal pedestrian is gonna bring that.
Real.
So I'm pretty sure you're part of the media team. So go ahead and bring your water, man."
Oh, so it worked
He's
out.
like, "And tell them to give you that bracelet that they had to give you that they forgot. That bracelet is pretty much a pass that tells us you're part of media."
Wow.
He was like,
That's
"They
wild.
forgot to give it to you, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, they didn't give me one." He's like, "Come on in."
Nice.
That's like legendary.
You know,
Playing the game right there.
And that happened another time too. There was a drag strip
Mhm.
where only like people in media could get through there,
Yeah.
and it was so funny because it was like barely starting. So like some people were like, you could go on the track and stuff, but after
That's
that you
tight.
gotta leave. And me and my brother were just like, we had our cameras and we were like just like get ready to take pictures of the cars. And then security's like, all right, now like people have to be on the stage and stuff.
Mhm.
So it was so funny because he was like, everyone leave and all that. Yeah, unless you're in media, you can stay. And then he looked at it, was like, oh, you guys are media, you can stay. We were like,
Cool.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
You said it.
Yeah.
That's
The
right.
funny thing
I
is,
guess-
for a media pass, you had to pay like $100, but we
But you
didn't pay
do?
for that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
we
they
just
know when you got
started-
that nice of equipment, they're like, only good stuff's gonna come out of this anyways. There's no
Yeah.
reason not to have you stay.
That's
Yeah.
wild, man.
And it's funny because when you have all your gear, you know, it's like they assume you belong there. Like at the dub show, I had people moving out of my way. They're like, "Hey, make space for the camera, we gotta move."
Really?
And I'm just some random guy that took my gear and
Yeah.
filmed. You know,
Dude.
I also went
legendary.
to a private event hosted by Super Street, and I was filming there too. And it's
Mhm.
funny because a lot of they have their own film crew, and they have similar setups to mine, but except my setup's like 7,000.
Mhm.
The whole rig I used, their setups were like 50,000 or 40,000.
Yeah, they had like red
They had
cameras.
reds
Yeah.
with the movies. And
Oh my gosh.
these guys, they were balling out.
Oh man.
So they would
That's
see me,
wild.
and I heard them whispering like,
Yeah.
Is that the new guy?" And I was over here walking in, like, getting all these shots, and
Yeah.
they didn't even question it. Like, they didn't tell me nothing.
Have you ever tried going to like a concert or something and just like going to the back and being like, "Hey, I'm with media"?
I actually did
Yeah.
have strummers. Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Yeah.
At first, they didn't really believe it, but afterward, I was like, "Look, man, I got the whole setup right here."
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, okay." And then once I went backstage, the rappers were like even coming up to the camera and
No
singing to
way.
me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
wow.
was performing?
There were a few local artists. I think it was.
Love City concert?
It was the Love
okay.
City concert. Yeah, it was just like a bunch of artists.
Yeah.
I mean, I
That's
think
really
at that
cool.
point, security's gonna be like, well, if I don't let them in, this doesn't get shot. Like, I am screwed.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
kinda like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about doing that before and just like I never had the balls to do it, I guess, but like that's legendary, man.
Well, sometimes you gotta act like you're supposed to be there,
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to feel the bill.
and they won't question it.
Mm.
Sometimes even if you don't have a pass or a ID card or anything, you just walk in like you're supposed to be there. They won't question it. I've been in a lot of situations like that where people are like, "Oh, like let the guy in, let the camera guy in, move everyone," or
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Especially
one of the most funniest things that we went to LA to go shoot a commercial for Black and White is that one right there, the one in the corner.
Oh, okay.
With the G-Wagon.
Yeah, right there. And it was so funny because the restaurant was like a what was it like?
It was like a 5-star restaurant where like
really?
only, like
yeah,
rich
people
in Beverly Hills.
There was a big old line of people, like of people. All they had was like Louis, Gucci. Like it was like these people were like they lived in Beverly Hills.
Reservations to eat there. You can't just walk in. These are probably like what, business people, celebrities, or rich people,
Yeah,
man,
not middle class. I'll tell you that.
When we were shooting the commercial, after we're done, we're putting our stuff away. Well, the agents, they're like, "Oh, what do you guys want to eat?" And we're like, "Well, sure." And we got like front-end passes. Like we just they let us cut the whole line.
There was literally a fence right along the sidewalk, and there was it was like a fence but of bushes.
Yeah,
we literally hopped over that.
No way.
Because they just told us like, oh, you can just
the agents that hired us for the video shoot said, "Do you guys want something to eat?" You know, it's on us. We're like, "Sure." You know.
That's sick.
Okay, come on in, because they were already in there.
Uh-huh.
Because we filmed them like sitting down, so we just hopped over the bush, and I guess someone complained in the back or whatever. So then the manager comes up. Hey, you guys aren't supposed to be out here like this. You know, you guys can't just be walking into this restaurant. The agent was like, "You know what? We spoke to the owner, and we made reservations ahead of time.
Really?
So we're clear to be here right now in this spot."
It was one of the
okay. Sorry about that.
One of the most best feelings is all these rich people are like, "What the heck?
All these people are high class, right?
Like these high class are like, how are these
then
people
they
just getting
these pretty much were kids. To them.
Like
wearing some just random clothes, like average clothes. We're all sweaty and
we're tired,
kind of dirty because we were filming all day. It was
yeah.
And we're all laughing, and I guess we're all excited, so we're being immature.
And they're all like high class.
And everyone else was just being all mature and just high class. So they were staring at us like, I don't think these kids are supposed to be here. The way they saw us jump over the fence. That was the big there. And then when the manager comes over here and they get told that we are supposed to be there, and then Utah kind of bugged them, and it's crazy because once we finished eating, come to find out those meals, it was like a burger with fries and a water. Were valued at $130.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She's like, "What do you guys want to eat?" We're like, "Anything's like burger's fine."
Meal in my life.
Did it taste like it was worth that much? That's the question.
It was bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't pay that much for it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like, was it better than In-N-Out?
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering.
The ketchup was that was the best ketchup I had ever tasted.
No way.
It was ketchup. We're like, what the?
Maybe if I was rich, it'd be worth it. But since I'm not rich, I wouldn't pay that much.
Whenever you get the GTR, that could be like a weekly thing.
Yeah,
there you go.
It was.
I can't even.
But so that was a crazy.
And it was so crazy because the agents were like, "So you guys want to eat?" We're like, "Well, anything's fine." They're like, "Is burgers okay?" We're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
At the end, we're like,
"They also got us like for all of us to share like a $80 pizza."
Yeah.
$80 pizza.
We were like, it was like an appetizer before we actually.
So it was pretty small then.
Oh yeah, it was small. Probably like
it was like flat
laptop.
It was like super.
Probably like the size of your laptop. It was like a little rectangle.
What?
$80 for this? Wow. That's crazy. I don't even know.
That's wild.
What is it? What's on it? Just pepperoni. It's like $80.
It had like some crazy
like
sausage
herbs
and sauces.
Yeah,
it was
some
pretty
gold
good
on there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's wild.
I don't get it.
It's crazy, man. And then they even followed us on Instagram. And
yeah,
they
it was
have like
cool.
85.
They did.
They have like 90,000 followers, and they only follow like 1,000, right? Or 2,000.
They only follow. Yeah, they only follow like.
This is like pretty much one of those places that rents out high-end luxury cars to. And rich people.
I got you. Yeah.
Like these cars are like wrapped with windows and sound system. They're not like just any random car. Like they do stuff to them,
Like
so
Snoop Dogg got some cars from them for music videos. Like celebrities. Like they only follow like celebrities or their photographers, and we got chosen to get followed by them.
Yeah,
I guess you fit the bill, man. Have you ever done a music video?
I've done one, but I never put it on YouTube because
like when we were starting.
Well, when I was like, at first, this was my first music video, so I wasn't too proud of it.
Right.
I know it could have been better. That's why I didn't post it. The artist posted on his YouTube, but I don't remember his YouTube. But to be honest, I've been wanting to make another music video, And at this point, I'm gonna do a giveaway probably sometime this month or next month. I want to do a music video giveaway.
You're gonna give away a music video?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's awesome, dude.
I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna like give it away.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking, I mean, a lot of the vote, you know, most people, they do a vote where like you tag friends and then they like draw it. I don't want to do it like that. What I want to do is I want to have like people tag like the best artists they know in town.
Yeah.
And then me listen to all of them and see which one is the best.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, do what you like.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, let's say I withdraw one from the random selection and then, not to say nothing bad, but they're not that talented, and then I'm gonna put in all my work and effort to make a cool video, but then the song.
Plus, if the song's not good, it's like the video's not gonna fix that.
Definitely.
But if I tell people, hey, tag your most best talented rapper friend or whatever artist, and then if I'm able to select the best one, when you combine that with a decent music video, then it puts you on the map and it puts them on the map.
Damn, being modest already.
You know,
a decent music video. I'm like, it's gonna be fire. You already know.
I mean, I know my work is decent, but I feel like there are a lot of people that are much better than me, and I have a ton of room for improvement.
Sure.
Like a ton of room for improvement. So at this point, I'm happy with my work, but I do feel like, first of all, step one, I need to get the hang of After Effects.
Right, yeah.
That's what I need to learn. Then from there, I'll see myself at another level.
Yeah.
For now, I'm just kind of basic, I'd say.
Man, you're doing better than we were at a year. Like, I've been doing not really photography for that long, but shoot, you're like really talented. You can see the passion and like the knack for it. So it's all coming around. We're trying to keep the podcast around an hour, so we're gonna take this time to give you a little shout out for your YouTube or Instagram, whatever you want to shout out. Go for it right now.
So you guys can check out I have 2 Instagrams. One of them is ScrawnyDonny. So it's ScrawnyDonny, which is my personal one that I use like 85% of the time. And then there's my other account, which is more my professional side of work and business, which is Donny Media. It's DONNY.media. So if you guys want to go ahead and follow those accounts to stay up to date on all my latest work, and stay tuned.
Yeah, awesome. We'll link them below also.
Sweet.
So they'll just scroll right down, go straight to your channels.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I'll even put your YouTube in there.
Sweet.
Might as well. Yeah,
that helps a lot.
For sure.
Of course.
Want to shout out yours, bro?
Mine is Jason Films, JASUN Films, and check out my Instagram, my YouTube.
Alright, guys. Yeah, so we're going to conclude it here, but we're definitely going to have to bring you on again for a future podcast. So this was episode number 7 of BOAST-CAST.
There you go.
I butchered my own name. This is episode number 7 of BOAST-CAST. Great having each of you, inspiration, honestly.
Thanks for having us, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, but can't wait to see what you do in the future. You're on to some great things, man.
Thanks.
Both of you.